Today I'm going to take you through a little stretching routine that is beautiful to do just after one of your runs. The beauty about doing a little stretching routine after you finish a run is obviously your muscles are warmed up, your blood's been pumping a little bit, so your muscles aren't super tight. So you're going to notice there's a little bit more flexibility, there's a little bit more room to move. It's not so tense. And even if there is a little bit of tension, the beauty of being warmed up and feeling good after a run to do the stretches is you're going to be able to just tap into those muscles a little bit more. So I'm a really big fan of an after run stretch, and the reason for that is it's just such a nice way to recover. It's also an excuse just to chill out for a couple of minutes after you've been on your feet. So it doesn't matter whether it's a long run, a short run, a hard run, or an easy run. A couple of stretches, just 10 minutes after any of those runs is a really good addition to your training routine. Let me take you through 3 of my favorite stretches. The reason these are my favorites is because they target a whole range of your big muscles and attack your small muscles as well, attack in a good way. So at the end of a run, you don't have to do anything too dynamic. These are just static stretches. You're not trying to get super flexible, you're just easing into the stretch, so you don't want to be causing damage. So this is a chance to relax, it's a chance to recover, it's a chance just to chill out a little bit. So the first one, and depending on your flexibility, is going to dictate how far you go, obviously, is you've just got your feet together and you're aiming to get your hands down towards your feet. So as you're starting, you might notice you're a little bit tight through the hamstrings, maybe up through your back is a little bit tight and it feels a little bit difficult to reach over. Completely fine, don't force yourself into it. Just as you breathe, on your exhale, you might come a little bit further forward, and on your inhale, you'll lift your chest out a little bit. If you don't quite have the flexibility to get your hands down to your toes, if you have like a little towel, hand towel, to wrap around your feet, that could be a good thing just for something to hold on to. And you can hold these from anywhere between 30 seconds to a minute. Obviously, the longer you hold it, the more of a stretch you're going to get, the more your muscles will relax. You don't want to be going into any pain, but try and distinguish the difference between like bone on bone kind of pain, which is not good and you should stop straight away, and just a little bit of tension through your muscle pain. So obviously you'll feel this up through the hamstrings, lower back, all the way up the back. This is one of the most popular stretches amongst so many big time yoga instructors, just because of how many different muscles and joints this particular stretch hits. Alrighty. The next one I wanted to show you is a nice one through your hips. So obviously your hamstrings and your hips are copping a beating as you're out there on the running track. So it's always nice to treat them with a little bit of love after that. So with this particular stretch, you're just going to lay down on your back, hands out to your side, and with your knees together, we'll start off rolling your knees over to the right hand side, and you'll feel this all up through your hips, maybe through your obliques a little bit as well. You want to remember that you're breathing through this. And same as that first stretch, you want to target about 30 seconds to a minute is fantastic. If you need a bit more of a stretch, you can even bring that top leg over and stretch it out further to the right. Or more again, if you want to straighten that bottom leg and bring that top leg over. Yeah, this is a fantastic stretch through the outside of your hips, which you'll notice if you've been doing a lot of running will probably feel quite tight. Try on your inhale just to get a little bit more of a stretch without forcing. You don't want to force, you just want to work with the tension that's in your muscles. You'll notice that if you can relax into it, it'll loosen up a little bit. And then we'll swap sides. You can look over towards the opposite hand, which is stretched out. So in this case, with my right leg stretched over the top, I'm looking out towards my right hand. This is such a good recovery strategy. We've got other videos on recovery on the Relax Running channel as well, which I'll tag down below. But this is a really good, simple place to start. Even just 3 or 4 stretches makes more of a difference than you might imagine. For the last one, we are going to target the front of our quads, a little bit through our groins and the front of our hips. And here's how this one's going to look. So we'll start with our left leg out in front, and you're simply putting a little bit of weight on your back knee, leaning forward. You don't want to arch over too much, just fairly straight back, and you'll feel this up through, well, you should feel this up through the quad, in this case my right quad, my right groin. If you need a little bit more of a stretch, you're feeling pretty good, you're feeling pretty flexible, if you've got it in you, you can bring this back foot up and treat that as a little bit of a lever. You don't want to just bring it straight in and pull your quad. But if you just gradually give that a little bit of tension, you'll feel that up through the front of your quad even more so. If you want to extend that stretch as well, you can add a little bit of pressure from your foot into your hand, almost like you're kicking back on your hand. And then as you release it, you might notice there's a bit more of a stretch there for you. Your quads can take a bit of a beating, especially if you're new to running and your muscles are adapting, so this could be a really intense stretch. Don't overdo it, don't hurt yourself when you do it. You just want to stretch it, you don't want to hurt it. And then we'll swap over. That was my knee, you might have just heard. It's fine, but that was a good crack. And same again, if you need a little bit more, feel free to grab that back foot with your left hand. Pull it in a little bit. Apply that pressure from your top of your foot, almost like a kickback, just like we did on the last leg. And then you might feel that loosen up a little bit on the release. So guys, they're only 3 stretches, but with those stretches, you've targeted your hamstrings, your lower back, your upper back. You've also stretched out the front of those quads, you've stretched out the groins, you've stretched out the outside of your hips. There's a lot of other stretches you can do, but for convenience, for time convenience, those 3 are going to be a magnificent addition just to start with. Don't feel like you have to go out and do 30 minutes at a time. Just aim on building the habit with 3 stretches, and then progressively, if you develop that routine, you develop that habit, you feel like you've got yourself into a little consistent rhythm with that, then you can start to add a couple. But I've added a couple of the other videos just in the link below, if you wanted to check those out. As always, guys, would love to hear your comments, would love the support of you. If you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe. Leave your thoughts at the comments below, and we'll continue the discussion down there. But in the meantime, guys, happy training, happy stretching, and I'd love to know how you feel these stretches help you out.